My name's Pete Lyman, and I'm a mastering engineer, and I own Infrasonic Mastering. We specialize in audio mastering with a focus on vinyl mastering. I grew up listening to vinyl, so when I think about music, I think about it being on a record. And the whole process and ritual of listening to records, taking it out of the sleeve, putting it on the turntable, looking at the artwork when you're listening to the record, that's how I want to listen to music. It's interesting that vinyl has become the only viable product and delivery method for music other than digital. It's the only physical product left. Bands that weren't able to do vinyl even 5 years ago that love it are able to do it now, and they're able to sell these records at their shows. And oftentimes they're selling better than the digital or the CDs. So it's a great time for vinyl. When you're cutting a master lacquer, normally we master the audio prior to cutting it, obviously, and prep the audio. We do our test cuts to make sure that it sounds how we want it to sound. We might make more EQ adjustments specifically for vinyl, and then we cut the master lacquer. Once you start cutting the master lacquer, there's no stopping. It's one shot. I love the whole process of making a record, but I love mastering because my brain just seems to be tuned into that particular part of the production process. I love, working with 2 tracks. I feel like I'm a painter instead of, a house builder. It's very abstract to me. When I'm listening to a song, I almost see it visually, sort of like a colorscape. And I have an idea. When I have an idea of what it's supposed to sound like, I do everything I can to get it there, and that's when it's done. Some of my favorite pieces of gear that I own right now, I love the Infrasonic mastering console. This thing sounds fantastic. I love all these pieces. I love the Burl converters. I've really loved the Inward Connections DEQ1, which unfortunately Steve Furlat doesn't make anymore. One of the other key pieces of gear that we have is the Antelope Atomic Clock and the Trinity. That's started using that about 3.5 years ago, and it just changed everything. Vintage King has been, just a great company to work with for Infrasonic because they do what other companies don't do. If I'm going to spend $8,000 on a compressor, I want to be able to hear it first, and I need to hear it in my own environment. And I need to work with people that are like-minded that actually use the gear. So everyone I've ever worked with at Vintage King has been an actual audio engineer, and that's important to me. So when I'm talking to someone about release times on a compressor, I don't want them to just read back whatever the text on their website says. I can do that, but I need actual opinion from someone that's used the gear, and that's important to me. And I like the support too. So, you never want a piece of gear to go down, but when it does, you want to know that someone's going to back you up and help you out when you're in a jam. And Vintage King has always been there for me.